back, XRP fans, and so is Arthur Britto. Who? What? Yeah, he posted on Twitter, and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about our favorite cryptos coming back because of the ceasefire. But they're still firing at each other, so is it really a ceasefire? And rate cuts. There's pressure on Jerome Powell to cut, but are we going to get it in July, or do we have to wait until September?
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Mysterious messages on Twitter. Price action all over the frickin' place. What the heck is going on? And people breaking ranks from Jerome Powell and the Fed. Yeah, I brought that story late yesterday, but we got more updated stats today, and a ceasefire, that doesn't mean a ceasefire, but your comments come first because you, the viewer, matter most. Martin Bureau says, hey Klaus, and dropping support on the channel, thank you. Happy Monday. Question: Solana may have many pump news about a big shift between ETH and Solana. Is it pure hype or something to consider? Look, here's the big problem we got with Sol. There were a lot of big players on it that pumped it and dumped it. But there's also a lot of building on Solana. We've seen that. The problem with ETH is what? It's touched 4,000 several times. But then again, they dumped the ever-living hell out of it. And Buterin made some comments about the direction how he wants ETH to go. And that spooked a lot of people because they're like, wait a minute. ETH isn't decentralized then. It's what Buterin wants. And that freaked a bunch of people out. Great question, though, Martin. Also, Blank6 says, it's nice watching a channel that isn't trying to sell us a subscription 5 times through each video. No, you, the viewer, matter most. That's why your comments are in the beginning. Nick Campbell says, hope you feel better. The thing is, why do I have a feeling we're not out of the woods yet? Because we're not. Had a ceasefire agreement, and yet both sides are still throwing things at each other. It's crazy. We still have the tariff overhang. Inflation still sucks. Iran could use a ceasefire as a ploy. Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but things seem to be over. No, because they're not. Crypto and the overall global markets are a house built on sand, not on stone. But hey, let's keep the optimism going. I got green in my background, green on the screen. Bitcoin's sitting at 105,222. ETH is 2421. XRP at 217. Well, 8 is at 58. Now, here's what you're going to notice, okay? BTC is back where it was. The problem is, though, is a lot of the alts right here. Look, this is the last 7 days, okay? This shows you when things got really crazy and when things rebounded. We basically are like even, okay, over the last 7 days. The problem we got, though, is a lot of our favorites have not climbed their way back. Look at ADA, under 60 cents still. XLM, under a quarter. So a lot of our favorites are still heavily struggling right now, everyone. And this is something you have to pay attention to. In fact, look at this. Look at altcoin season, right? BTC season. This sucks for us altcoin fans out there. 17 out of 100. So essentially, BTC price dominance is rating true. In fact, if we zoom in on this, okay, check it out. Look at the altcoin season index, all right? You're going to see, yes, BTC is up 20% over the last 90 days. There's only 16 coins beating BTC over the last 90 days. The majority of them, though, are in the red, everyone, and a lot of them are favorites for this channel. So, BTC dominance, right? Store of value play is happening. When is altcoin season? I don't know. I hope soon, because a lot of us are altcoin fans. Now, why is the market in the green? Well, I'm trying to save my voice, but I posted yesterday. That's right, 14 hours ago, that a ceasefire hasn't been announced between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Here's the problem, though. They're still throwing things at each other. Bitcoin reclaims 105,000 after Trump announces an Israel-Iran ceasefire. Yeah, they are. They're still pew-pewing each other. So, look, we're not on solid ground. And that's why your comments matter in the beginning, because you're right. We are still very shaky right now. Now, that being said, BTC definitely pumped from the lows of yesterday. We touched that 100,000 mark, went right up to 106,000. We're now floating at 105. So that tells you where the market's at. Bitcoin 105,000. Trend switch comes as the Fed hints at the July rate cut. No. There's 2 players hinting at the July rate cut, but we're not going to get one in July. Basically what happened is this. You had Michelle Bowman come out, and you had the other gentleman come out on Friday saying it, okay? That being said, you're still not going to get one. Here are the odds for you. Latest odds have it at 83.5% chance, and that's Bostic. Bostic on Friday said rate cuts he wants in July. Bowman said it yesterday. 83.5% chance that you're going to have a pause pause in the July meeting. Now, you zoom out to the September meeting, 17th of September. Oh, look at that. You've got a 75% chance of rate cuts. That's what I'm saying. So look. End of third into fourth quarter, you've got rate cuts. You've got regs coming. This could be juicy back end of the year, everyone. Now, I know, poop sandwiches right now, I get it. But look, if you can tread water, save money, stack your bags, you might be setting yourselves up for a good end of the year with Santa Claus bringing you the good news. So, just because you have two Fed bigs telling you right now that they want cuts doesn't mean you're going to get them. Bostic and Bowman are both saying, yo, we want the cuts. Now on to what you want to talk about. Ripple's Arthur Britto resurfaces on X after a 14-year silence. A mysterious Ripple co-founder and developer of XRP Ledger has resurfaced on X after 14 years of silence. Why? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation going on. Does this have to do with the court case? Arthur Britto, mysterious co-creator of XRP Ledger alongside David Schwartz and Jim McCaleb, and also co-founder of Ripple, has posted on X. David Schwartz confirmed that this post contained a single emoji was legitimate and was authorized. Here's the post. Just a single emoji from Arthur Britto. Here's Schwartz. I can confirm this was not a hack or a compromised account. What does this mean? All of a sudden, the internet is going absolutely crazy with this action. Yeah. People are like, what does this mean? 14 years of silence, and then boom shakalaka, the dude posts one emoji, and that's it. All of a sudden, the internet goes absolutely freaking wild. Now, that being said, XRP goes wild. We got a little bit of price action. We're up almost 9% now in the last 24 hours. Now, that being said, look at an interesting stat here. Crypto volume overall, 155 billion, up 12.4%. XRP up 10%. So right in line, though, $5 billion. Look at this 7-day chart. Absolute wild oscillations in price. Let's go to those candlesticks and see what's happening here. We're going to go to the 15-minute variant, and you're going to see some nice juicy lows to buy. I told you, if you're patient, you're going to get some sub $2 XRP. You had some lows of 190 here, and look at this, right around 220. So market's saying right now, hey, 220 is where we're going to let you get on this. But look, you had 30 cent swing, 15% swing here in like what, a 36-hour time period for XRP. That is healthy as could be. Now, this move is still very, very early. Again, we're still seeing some things being thrown at each other between Israel and Iran. So we could still remember, go to the downside if things escalate, go to the upside if the ceasefire becomes permanent, right? Permanent is in quotes, okay? I think we know that the Middle East is never really permanent. Things are always seeming to flare up. But that being said, I told everyone, look, the market upside potential is what? Ceasefire action. The market downside is what? Flare-ups. Further market upside is what? Rate cuts in September. Now, the market will start pricing this in probably in between the July and September meeting. So I would be looking at a little bit more optimism around August time for the market, right? Then we would start thinking about what? Stablecoin bill around that time as well. So August could definitely have some market optimism priced in. But then you got Arthur Britto popping his head out there doing a little bit of emoji action. Maybe a little bit of SEC case final resolution. We're getting some rate cuts, getting some regs, getting the markets to kind of chill out a little bit. Could this be opening up to a juicy fourth quarter? XRP fans, like I've told you before, you should feel darn confident that, you know what, we rebound above that $2 mark. Because yes, don't get me wrong. Do we breach $2 every so often? Yeah, we do. You've seen it here time and time again. June, last time it happened in April, then we got a little bit in March, then we got a little bit of February, but every time we seem to bounce back above $2. So if you can snipe and hold below 2, your buys seem to be good at that level. But then you get the support, you pop back north above 2. Seems like a pretty good strat, doesn't it? And with fourth quarter, back end of third quarter looking juicy with those big global macros, along with regaronis and so forth. Could be setting up for some juicy times ahead. So Britto's back after many years of silence. XRP bounces back after barely being under $2, but you were able to snipe if you were cautious. That being said, opportunities are there, and I told you that those opportunities would happen based on those, yes, geopolitical events. Now, one of your comments was, bro, I don't feel like we're on stable ground, because we're not. You could have another flare up that could send prices back on the way down. And if you got the dry powder, again, you've seen you could stack your sub $2 XRP, your sub 14-cent H bar, and we know what's coming down the pipe. Rate cuts soon. Yeah, maybe not July. No, definitely not July. But September. Yeah, definitely September. Maybe we get 2 rate cuts for the year. Then you've got regs, stable coin along with regs for the rest of the market. You see what I'm saying? We're playing this out to be a better back half of the year. In fact, it seems like it's going to be a better fourth quarter of the year. Third quarter, no. Back end of the third quarter into fourth quarter, yeah, that seems better. But remember, the market's going to price that in ahead of time. Now, that being said, the opportunities to buy are going to be based on what? Flare-ups in the Middle East. That's right now what the market is focused on, that and inflation. And we've seen when you have flare-ups and things, what is everyone freaking out about? Inflation right now. That's the big word, inflation. Tariffs causing inflation. Oh, we're going to be having some problems with oil. Inflation. Oh my gosh, my wife didn't respond to Snapchat. Inflation. No, it doesn't cause inflation, but maybe it does. Inflation somewhere else. The whole point is this. The market itself is very shaky, all right? And everyone out there is panicking. So that's why you're seeing these wild oscillations happen so fast. That's why you're seeing safe haven assets right now being what? So strong. So just be cautious. Just be aware of what's going on in the news and being aware of what's making these prices move both up and down. Because remember, the things that are causing the prices to go down are also the same things that when they get resolved cause the prices to go up, just like you saw yesterday. And remember, I can't always post a video because my throat and having a little bit of sinus problems going on. I will post it in the community section, so make sure you follow the page so that you see what's going on. That being said, I'll provide you more updates as things happen, but right now, look, we've got floor support with our prices, so you should feel darn comfortable about that. So choo-choo what? Choo-choo bitches.